Welcome to today's CalRTA orientation and training for new and returning Area CTC Reps. And I have been told that I'm interchanging the term rep and chair, and I'll probably defer to the term chair after today's training because that's actually what's in the handbook. So you're a rep, you're a chair. I'm good with either of those terms, but nevertheless, welcome this morning. I'm glad to see that we have a number of people in attendance. So today's orientation, the purpose of today's orientation is basically to introduce or to reintroduce to you the roles and responsibilities of an area communications and technology representative or chair. As I said just a couple seconds ago, I asked that you keep your microphones muted to kind of tone down any background noise that might be there for the duration of this presentation. We should have about 10 minutes at the end when I will stop my screen share. We'll get back to kind of our gallery view, and hopefully I can address any questions or comments that you have at that time. If you have questions in the course of the presentation, go ahead and open up the chat down below. Let me make sure that the chat is open to everybody. Yes, everybody publicly and privately. So the chat is open. You can type in any questions in chat if you'd like. I also sent you 4 handouts. One of them is a note-taking guide that follows the PowerPoint, and you can take notes as you wish. I didn't send you the full page PowerPoint slides. I can do that if that's something that you would like me to do when I send out notes. Some people want those big slides. If you want them, you can always send me an email and I can send it off to you. You also have a kind of a job description, so to speak. This is from the handbook, and it's the Area CTC chair job description. Kind of going along with that is this checkoff sheet that I created that goes along with the job description. And I'm going to talk about this at the very end of the presentation. And the 4th handout, I actually distributed also at our last roundtable meeting. But if you weren't at that, and maybe you're new to this position, this is really a cool resource. It has basically every handout, every video, every tutorial, every webinar that we have on the CalRTA website that fits into these categories. So this is just a really good resource that you could use and may find helpful. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get going here. So let's think back. Let's think back. Remember when CalRTA divisions conducted board meetings around a table, sitting close together with no masks on? Remember when we did that? Remember when CalRTA division luncheons were crowded with friends and colleagues, and we were all listening to guest speakers and watching PowerPoint presentations and indulging in catered cuisine? Seems like a million years ago. Remember when we used our computers predominantly for sending and receiving emails, for checking our Facebook posts, and maybe just surfing the internet? And remember when Zoom meant a camera attachment for really, really close-ups on your camera, or simply a super fast car? Well, as the old saying goes, we have come a long way, baby. We all, as we're well aware of, we all were forced by a brutal pandemic to step out of our comfort zone, and boy, did we. We stepped out of that comfort zone. We had to learn to rely more on our tablets, computers, iPads, smartphones, and all forms of technology just to maintain communication with our family, with our friends, with our colleagues. And we, as this training testifies to, We learned that Zoom meant much, much more than close-up photos and fast cars. It actually meant connecting with and communicating with other people. It meant learning new skills, and we all did. It meant becoming just a tad more tech savvy, and we all did. It meant keeping CalRTA alive and well and functioning even in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. But you know what? Through it all, the goal, the duties, especially of CTC and division and area communications teams, never really changed. We were supposed to support our CalRTA leadership, support our divisions, and keep the lines of communications open. That was our main goal. More than ever, state, area, and division leaders and membership, they needed help, they needed assistance, they needed support. And a lot of that support came from CTC. How could divisions continue connecting with their members without face-to-face meetings? Most of us didn't even know what Zoom was. We were kind of at our wits' end trying to figure out how all of this was going to be done. We had never traveled this road before, but we took on the challenge, as you all know, and we attacked it head on. And I think we were quite successful at it. In a matter of weeks, CTC was holding trainings, webinars. We were dispensing tips and tricks for meeting on different social media platforms. We were providing guidance. We were providing direction for division and area leaders who all of a sudden found themselves having to learn a whole new way of communication. Zoom, what we're doing right now. Many of you attended those trainings and webinars, and then you all stepped out of your comfort zones and into the unknown and moved into the world of Zoom. Some of you did it very flawlessly. Some of you struggled along the way, but that's okay. You took this step, and that was critical. And of course, CTC offered advice and suggestions whenever we could. It was a turbulent time, as we all know. Hopefully coming to an end, I think. It brought us trials, it brought us challenges, but you know what, we came out better in the end, and I think you could all agree that we are more knowledgeable, we're much more confident, and yes, we're actually rather proud of our accomplishments. So as a new or even a returning CTC area chair or rep, where do you begin? Where should we begin? And probably the best place to begin would be in the job description, which is in the CTC handbook. And to access that handbook, I've got a pathway listed along the top of this screen. So if you need to get to the handbook, you simply go to the CalRTA homepage and you log in, and that takes you to the members page. Then on the left-hand side, you're going to see a blue menu, and at the top of that menu, it says Division Resources. Down below that, you'll see Programs and Committees, and then you're going to look for CTC. When you open that CTC page, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the CTC page, there's a link to the PDF of the handbook. Now, I do want to let you know that the handbook is currently being revised and edited. The last edit was done in 2014. A lot has changed since 2014. So we're trying to bring it up to 2021 standards. And so the edits and changes aren't going to be completed until around August 1st. Then we need to make a final copy, and that needs to be presented to the board for approval. So hopefully in the early fall, we'll get copies out to all area CTC reps, to area directors, and probably to all the division presidents. So kind of keep a lookout for that, and we'll have some updated information. Now, I will be taking you through each of the items that you see here. But I'll be elaborating on each of these categories a bit to kind of give you a basic idea of what your role entails as an area CTC rep. At the end, as I said before, I'm going to be opening up to questions. So if after I go through all of this, you still have some questions or comments, then you can feel free to address those then. So what exactly are the goals? We need to know the goal of this committee, and the committee is made up of all the area CTC reps or chairs. So what is the goal of CTC, the CTC committee? Well, as the handbook says, this committee we are the ears or the eyes and ears of CTC. Well, okay, what does that mean? Our goal is to watch our divisions, watch what's going on with CalRTA around us, and we are to listen. We are to listen to comments and suggestions, concerns. And when we believe that we as a committee can provide support to our state board, to the Government Relations Committee, to the MRRC membership committee, our area directors, and our divisions, if we can provide support, in those areas that they need help with, then that is what we're supposed to do. Our goal is also to maintain the flow of information relevant to communications and technology between the state level and the area and divisions, sharing critical information, maybe decisions that have been made at the state level. We're supposed to share that with area and local divisions, bringing CTC concerns from those divisions as well and the area up to the state. So it's to and from. It works both ways. Our goal is to keep up to date on communication opportunities and strategies, new technology. We need to be aware of webinars that are coming out, of trainings that are coming out, videos, other support resources provided by CalRTA. We need to know where they are and how to locate them on the CalRTA website. And then we need to share, and the key word right there is to share that information. It's not just for us. We need to get that information out to our area and to our divisions. So the sharing is critical for our role. Our goal is also to seek and collect feedback from our divisions so we can provide appropriate support in a timely manner. This, of course, involves constant communication between the area CTC rep and division communications teams, not just the president of divisions, but their communications team as well. And I'll talk about who is part of that. We call it the comms team, and that's going to include, yes, your division president, but your newsletter editor, your division web manager, publicity chair, a community liaison. All of those fit under that umbrella of a comms team or a division communications team. So, we need to communicate and share information with them. So given that these 4 items, these are the goals of our committee, I would say too, much of what this entails can be done actually by email or even through Zoom meetings. It does not have to be in person. Our ability to successfully support, and you're gonna hear that word a lot, to support others may depend on our comfort level with a variety of communication forms, many of which you see right here, such as Facebook, Zoom, YouTube, and a lot of these Google apps that are available to us. And of course, this is not an exhaustive list. In other words, we need to be willing to stretch ourselves a bit and to move into some new areas that might initially be uncomfortable for us, but you know what? They are commonplace for many incoming members to CalRTA. This is the norm for them, what you see in front of you. They have been using these kinds of tools and apps for quite a while now. This is secondhand knowledge. I mean, it's firsthand knowledge for them. So it might be new to us, but people coming in, they already know this. So we've got to step up our game and make sure that we're comfortable with a lot of these as well. Now, obviously, we don't know everything there is to know about communication and technology, but we do need to keep learning. And I'm going to emphasize that as well. We need to keep trying new things so we can help and support when we're called upon to do so. Now, that is not to say that we should abandon some of the tried and true methods of communication that work well for our non-tech members. And we all have those people in our divisions, those who don't even own computers, or they live in areas where there's no internet connection or Wi-Fi is shaky, that kind of thing. So we can't ignore them. We can't abandon those people because that's part of our job. Many of our older people have not embraced technology. So we need to be sending cards. We need to send handwritten letters or typewritten letters, postcards perhaps, and of course, a good old-fashioned phone call every now and then can go a long way in keeping our members feeling good about being a member of CalRTA. So many of our older members in our divisions have not embraced this newfangled technology. They're just, not wanting to do that. They're not ready to take that plunge into computers and smartphones and all things techie. We need to be mindful of their needs as well. We need to reach out to them. We need to support them as well. And remember that 50% of our job title is communication. So that means communication of all kinds, not just technology. Well, speaking of technology, on the flip side, the other 50% of our title is technology, communications and technology. So to be successful as a CTC area rep or chair, you do not need to be a technology wizard, despite what some people think. They think, I don't know enough about technology to be in this spot. Yes, you do. You do have to have some degree of comfort, though, and some degree of technology to make things work and be able to do what we need to do. You don't have to be a wizard at it, though. If you feel that your tech skills are lacking, you have a number of resources at your fingertips. First of all, you can find all sorts of guidance at this email address, questions4calrta@gmail.com. Send an email here. Now, these are technology questions about any aspect of technology, whether it's maintaining a division website or looking for technology resources or how to do something. If you can't find the resource, send an email to questions4calrta, and a CTC specialist will get in touch with you or respond, usually within 24 hours. And many of you already know Marilyn Smith. She is actually, she's one of our CTC specialists, but she's actually our new state vice chair for CTC. But you know what? Marilyn handles the majority of those emails that come in. She checks it every day and she will get back to you. Her responses are amazingly detailed and provide you all the information that you need. So don't hesitate to send an email here. CalRTA's YouTube account also is loaded with past webinars and trainings, over 20 short video tutorials that are 15 minutes or less on all sorts of subjects, from setting up a Zoom account, using all the tools that Zoom has to offer, creating surveys using Google Forms, registration forms. There are some tips for newsletters. There are 4 different tutorials that have to do with newsletters, maintaining your division website. So all of these are available in these tutorials. And all you have to do is click on that YouTube icon in the upper right-hand corner of the CalRTA homepage, up in the right-hand corner there, or you can go to your division website. And also in the upper right, you're going to see that YouTube icon. You click on YouTube there and then click videos, and you can scroll through and look for all sorts of resources. The CalRTA website also has a number of easy to follow step-by-step how-to handouts that can be printed and used simultaneously with a lot of these tutorials that are available. So the handouts are also important. We also need to have a learning mindset. We need to seek knowledge, and I said that before. We need to try new strategies. We need to seek help when we don't have the answers. And we need to be able to direct those who need support to all of these resources that CalRTA offers on their website. We also need to remind people that sometimes just Googling it is all you need to do. The internet, as we all know, is filled with all sorts of step-by-step instructions, YouTube tutorials that are so easy to watch on virtually any subject you can imagine. Most of what I learned about Zoom a year ago, when we had to really step it up, I went and watched YouTube videos and I just took notes. If you have a question, Google it, search for the answer rather than just depending on somebody to tell you where everything is. So step out, try it, look for the answers on your own. If you still can't find the answer, then of course, you might want to go back to this email and ask us a question. So the nice thing about being a CTC committee member is that most of what we do is done in the comfort of our home. Here we are, right this morning. We're sitting here Zooming. You might have your jammies and slippers on and nobody knows. You can do this from your computer, your laptop, your smartphone even, and I think somebody's on their smartphone even this morning. Once things open up and we resume some sense of normality, and that's going to happen, it's coming, visits to divisions, face-to-face visits to divisions in your area are encouraged, but not necessarily required, especially if you are far away, if your divisions are way far away and traveling is troublesome. But if you have divisions that are close, ask to attend one of their division meetings, their luncheon meetings if they've resumed. It doesn't mean that you always have to make a presentation, but just show up and talk with people and chat. You might be asked to make a brief presentation at a division luncheon. It's your choice to accept that. If you're not really into making a presentation, you can pass on it. But it all depends on your level of comfort. Once again, nothing is really required. And it doesn't take much to make a presentation. All you can do, you can summarize what CTC does, what our role is, and explain that basically to membership. And of course, since we're spread all around the state, meeting in person, this committee meeting in person is basically reserved for the state convention in the spring, when everybody gathers and we can schedule a CTC meeting at that point with our whole committee. And if budgeted, not this fall, but the following fall, the fall leadership conference, if we have a budget for that, and hopefully we can all attend and share some face-to-face ideas and just kind of reacquaint ourselves with each other. So that would be kind of nice. Okay. Notice that I have marked this important up here. I think this is one of the most critical because as a communications and technology rep or chair, the communication part is very, very important. That means communicating and sending out the word to people who need to hear and receive this information. We are kind of that connection. You guys hear information and ideas in the roundtable meeting. Those meetings are once a month. We're going to be dark in July. Each of these meetings is about an hour. They're the second Tuesday of every month. And, but just attending the meeting isn't the most critical. This second bullet point right here, notice again, we're sharing the meeting information with your area director, with your GRC chair, your area membership chair, division comms team. So don't just, I mean, I would send it, yes, any information to the presidents, but if you have contact information for the newsletter editors in your divisions, the publicity chairs, the community liaisons, the historians, if you have their contact information, send them the information too, so they are up on what they need to know. And all of this can be done by disseminating the notes from the meeting. Typically, after a roundtable meeting, I will type up key information. Oftentimes, I add links, lots of links to different documents, resources, handouts, and videos. You can actually just take that note sheet that I put together and you can send that, unless you want to add your own personal details to it. You can do that as well. But it's ready to send out when I send it to the area CTC reps. So that could be pretty easy. The continual flow of information is critical, and I keep talking about it. This is all part of that communication element. The continual flow of information. This is critical, obviously, not just to CTC, but to CalRTA as an organization. We have to keep those lines of communication open. So as I mentioned earlier, we facilitate the flow of information and updates to our division communications team, to our area directors and area committee chairs. We send emails, we share documents, we share links to important resources. We host Zoom meetings to keep the divisions up to speed on CTC related issues in CalRTA. So again, make sure that that information is back and forth. But remember that the flow of information goes both ways. So as an area CTC rep, urge your divisions to share their communication and technology questions and concerns with you. Ask them, send them an email. What issues do you need more support in with regard to communications and technology? If you even send them an email with one basic question and ask for them to come back with one idea, you're going to get all different kinds of responses, and you will have a better understanding of the challenges that some of your divisions have. So sending out a quick survey, a quick questionnaire, just a basic email with a single question can bring you some valuable feedback. So remember, our goal is to support our divisions, yes, our area directors, GRC chair, membership chair, but our divisions, those are kind of under our wing. And if we don't have a solution or answer, we need to seek out someone who does, or we need to find the resources that would benefit our divisions. As I have said now probably 50 different times, support is at the very core of CTC. And notice I have marked this important. So I want you to really take note here. You provide support to your area director and the divisions in your area, but let's start with the area director. Can you help your area director with technology issues? Can you point them to someone who can help, or a CalRTA resource that might help with their issue? How can you help your area director with just communication? Do they need to get the word out to their divisions? Do they want a classy flyer put together, or a mass mailing for their membership? A video presentation maybe to spice up their Zoom meeting? Can you help them or support them in any of those areas? Area directors might ask just for some general assistance. Maybe we could rename it moral support. Maybe they have a project that's going on and they just need somebody there kind of to bounce some ideas off. Maybe you could provide support there. How comfortable are you with Zoom? Can you help out at a Zoom meeting for a division that's struggling? Perhaps your area director is setting up a meeting and needs a little moral support, as I just said? Can you help with scheduling and opening the meeting, perhaps? Maybe serving as a co-host. I assigned Marilyn to be a co-host this morning so she can let people in from the waiting room while I start the meeting or the presentation. You know, what can you do to support? Maybe you can set up a poll for their Zoom meeting, or maybe breakout rooms because they've never done something like that before. Most areas offer a fall workshop. You might be asked to conduct a small breakout session for your area's fall workshop. And in that fall workshop, there might be a number of division communications team members who will gather and sit around and talk with you. What can you present to them? You could just even go around and just have a discussion. It doesn't even have to be a presentation. It could be, how's your area doing? What kind of support do you need in communication and technology? So you might be asked to do that. And then there's support for divisions. And this is obviously very, very important. Some divisions, as you might know, and they might be in your area, some divisions are really, really struggling. They don't update their division website. Some divisions have no newsletters posted, none, 0. Some have no photos, or the last photos that were posted might be 2015. For a number of divisions, no events listed. And I know that right now, most divisions don't have events listed because we're still working out, you know, schedules for the fall. I get that. No scholarship and grant information, no pictures, no announcements for any of that. How can you support those divisions? How can you support them? And again, looking at their division website, as the Area CTC chair, looking at their division website tells you a lot. Some divisions have it all filled up. They've got all sorts of information there, and then others have very little. Those divisions might need some serious help, and you need to think of how can you support them. You can start, of course, by periodically checking on those division websites, just as I said. Is the information accurate? Is their leaders list, the one that shows on the front, is that accurate and up to date? There are a lot of division websites where the president has been out of office for over 2 years, but they're still listed there as the president. If it appears that these divisions need help, you know what? Give them a phone call. Call the division president and say, I noticed that your division website, you know, has some outdated information. How can I help you fix that? How can I help you fix that? If you're not sure how to help a division to upgrade and update their website, once again, you can always refer them to questions4CalRTA@gmail.com. We'll be able to help with that. A CTC specialist will contact them and kind of guide them through the process of getting those updates done. And here's something else. Some divisions, and again, you may or may not know this, have not met virtually for a year and a half. They haven't met at all. A year and a half. During COVID, they never held a virtual meeting, and actually many divisions stopped producing their newsletters or posting them. So there are some divisions where there's been no communication whatsoever for 15 months. Think of how you might help them get back on track. They're going to need some serious guidance. And yes, things will change a little bit when we're back to personal, you know, face-to-face meetings. Again, a phone call, maybe a one-on-one, well, I was going to say a Zoom meeting, but if they're not doing technology, anything, that could be, but a phone call, again, might go a very, very long way and might be the spark that they need to get going. And finally, continue to share resources with those divisions, all divisions that are under your wing. Okay, let them know where those key resources can be found. Most important, by the way, on the CalRTA website, once you log into the members page, division resources is where most of this information is going to be found. And that will be on a blue menu on the left side once you log in on the CalRTA website. Okay, so this is also, short reports were listed in the job description for the CTC area rep. I crossed it out because you guys really, I mean, you really don't write reports. You don't report. There's no report that you are required to send in. So basically it entails updates. It entails updates. So let's talk about updates. It's important for you as an area CTC rep to have current contact information for anybody who is on the division communications teams in your divisions that are in your area. Make sure that you have their contact information. So when you send out information, that information is reaching the right people. Send out a request for changes. Send out an email to your division presidents and say, hey, are there any changes in these positions? Your historian, your community liaison, your publicity person, are these positions still held by the people that I have on my list? You can do that, you know, in the spring, right after the convention, when a lot of divisions hold their elections, or you can wait till the fall when things start up again. I would do it, you know, in the late spring. Maybe create a chart or some kind of a list so you have all of that contact information available to you. Make sure you have their names, their positions, their emails, and a phone number so you can contact those people if you need to. Prompt your divisions to keep their website updated. And, you know, I talked about that just a second ago. But they're going to need some prompting from you. Okay, they're going to need prompting from you and kind of get them to get with the program here, including their leaders list, their events, their meeting calendar, their photos, and their newsletters. Those are all key. Let me explain to you why this is so important, the updating of the division website. So when somebody joins CalRTA with the online application form, that goes to the business office to Johanna Hobbs. She takes a look at where the person either retired from, where they retired from, or where they're currently living, and she tries to match them up with a division at that point. So what she does is she sends them a letter with all this information. Here is the website for the such and such division, and here is their meeting information. Now the person goes to the website and is excited to find out a little bit about the division that they've been assigned to, and they find that there are no newsletters to read. There are no photos to look at. You know, they might click on photos thinking, oh, I'm going to see some of my former colleagues who have retired and are now member. There's no photos. You know, there's nothing there. And maybe even the leadership directory is out of date. You know, maybe they try to contact somebody and they can't even get a hold of them. So stop and think that impression, that initial impression from a new member is not perhaps the kind of impression that we as an organization would like to leave for new people coming in. So updating the division website, I can't stress it enough. It's very, very important. And finally, who in your area is responsible for updating your area webpage? Now, you may or may not know, you do have an area webpage. And if you're not sure how to get to that, go to your division webpage and click on the gold area button. Click on the gold area button. And that will take you to your area, and then you can look at the list of area officers. Make sure that that's up to date too. Now, if you don't know who is responsible for updating the area information, you can always contact me and or questions for CalRTA@gmail.com, and we'll let you know who is at least on the list, supposedly the contact for updating the area website, but we need to make sure that that is current as well. We have a new way of updating that we are rolling out. So it might still be a couple weeks before this gets finalized. On the division webpage, there is a button called the DWM communication form. This button with this active link right here is actually kind of right below the newsletter spot for the newsletters. If you click on this blue link right here, it'll take you to an online update form where it's very, very easy to update any changes to your leaders list. Now, information is going to come out about this in about a week, maybe even less. We're going to be sending out information to all division presidents, and you guys will be receiving this as well. And there's a short video tutorial that's about 10 minutes long that explains the process on how to do this. It really is very basic. So now you can update your leaders list for your area or your division at any time. Okay, you don't have to wait for the lists to come in from Johanna Hobbs once a year or every 2 years. So just so you know that that is coming, and you'll see some more information about that. Finally, share ideas and information. Communication, remember, that's what we do. We communicate. Share with divisions, share with area directors, share with your GRC. So when you send out notes after a roundtable meeting, these are all of the people who should be receiving that information. Your divisions, your area directors, your membership rep, and your GRC rep. They should all be getting any information that you send out. If they don't feel they need the information, they can always delete it, but at least you need to put the information out there. Share information about webinars, any articles maybe that you run across relating to communications or technology. Again, the notes from the roundtable meetings. This share the wealth. Jim Sterling had this share the wealth idea, and he used that quite often, but that means people like you send me a really good idea, something that you do. Maybe you put together a dynamite flyer that you sent out to all of your divisions. Well, send it to me too, because if it's something that I think everybody can benefit from, I'm going to share the wealth and send it to others. So send me stuff too, so I can share the wealth. And just sharing ideas is very good. Also, I'm publishing the update newsletter for CTC that goes out once a month. Now, those little articles are only about 100 words in length, but if you have a nifty little idea that you want me to stick in the update, just send it to me and say, hey, this might be something that we could use in an update. Absolutely, I'll find a spot for it. So send something to me. Share and publish this email, but make sure that your divisions understand that this is for technology questions only. I have looked at some newsletters, and in some newsletters from some divisions, I see this advertised as any question about CalRTA that you have, send it to this. No, please make sure that you're clarifying that this is only for tech related questions, and that's all, but advertise it. Share and repeatedly promote the many helpful resources available to those involved with CTC. Share those video tutorials, share the webinars, helpful how-to handouts. Make sure that you're sharing those just periodically, send them as attachments or links and send it out in an email. Be able to point people to these resources. Once again, CalRTA website, log in, division resources. That's where most of these items will be housed. So besides the responsibilities listed on the handbook job description, what more can you do? Well, we talked about attending meetings, sharing information, updating information, supporting and informing people. Well, you can also be creative. Create flyers, create handouts, create tutorials, create videos, create helpful resources, and then share those with people. But keep creating things. Continue to collaborate, work with other CTC reps, work with and support government relations chairs, membership chairs, work with your division communications teams, work together, collaborate on ideas and projects, and then again, share those ideas. And continue to contribute, make some contributions to the Share the Wealth. I just talked about that. In it, those are e-blasts. Share something for the update newsletter, 100 words or so. Submit articles to the Contact magazine, Debbie Pate Newberry. Okay, you just got to send it to her. And I can send you her email if you don't have it. Division Resources newsletter, she publishes that as well. If there is something that you feel is worth sharing, just go for it, send it. Okay, and try to get yourself published. That's good for communications. Okay, here is that checkoff sheet that I gave you as a handout, so you should have a copy here. Now, this isn't mandatory, okay? This is not homework. I'm not going to collect it and give you a grade. I'm not going to mark it with a red pencil. I don't do that anymore. This is just for you and your own personal accountability. Sometimes we forget what our job really is all about. Sometimes we lose sight of our position and what it entails. This might be a reminder to you of some of the things that we need to be doing. Again, the goal is to support others who are in leadership roles and keeping the lines of communication open and flowing. So this might be something that you want to take a look at. Am I doing this? Am I doing this? Have I done this? And if I haven't, maybe I should do it. So again, not mandatory, just a resource for you. So I'd like to close with this before I get to questions. A while ago, I asked our current area CTC chairs what one piece of advice they thought a new CTC area rep needs to know. And this is what some of them responded. Wow, communication, stay in contact with all of your divisions in your area. And I know, I have 11 divisions in my area, in Area 9. And that's a challenge to stay in touch with all of them, but I give it my best shot. So stay in touch somehow, some way, whether it's just a quick email, how you doing? How can I support you? Do you need any help? Very simple. Be sure your area's division has your accurate contact information and that they know that you are prepared to help them. That when they send you an email and ask for help, that you're going to acknowledge it and do your best to help, or you're going to find somebody or a resource that can help. Read your emails and then reply that you got it. How many of us have sent out an email that we thought was really important and then you don't hear anything? Okay, I always respond with like a thumbs up. Yes, I got it. I'm good to go. So respond to emails in a timely manner. Let them know that you've received their information or their question and that you're going to get back to them. Keep up to date on meetings. Know when they are. Make sure that you're checking your emails, that they're not going into spam. But then again, that sharing of information is really, really important. And then this is the tech element. Get acquainted with your divisions in your area as to their technical knowledge and expertise. What are their needs? What are their needs? Do they need a division Zoom tutorial? I can do something like that. If you don't feel like you can do that or you're not ready to do something like that, let me know. And I'd be more than happy to meet with a division one-on-one and take them through some process involving technology or Zoom or whatever. But you have to find out what their needs are before we can meet those needs. So be in touch. All righty. That was a lot, but we do have a little bit of time left. First of all, I want you to take note. Here's my contact information down here. I respond to either of these emails, calrta.ctc@gmail.com or ronandsue82@gmail.com. This, of course, is my husband's and my account. Here's my phone number. You can text me if you need help. Just identify who you are so I know who's texting me. But contact me at any time and I'd be more than happy to help. So I'm going to stop sharing. And if you need to unmute yourself, you can. If I'm going to field some questions, we have about 10 minutes left or so. Let me take a look. Let's see. Lola, you asked a question early on. Does that mean I should pick people to do these supportive jobs? Lola, you want to unmute yourself and kind of and clarify that question for me?
No, I don't want everybody to know how dumb I am. No.
Oh, heck.
Okay, here's the deal. The deal is being so very new and reading all of this stuff. By the way, thank you for putting me on your committee. God, that was informative for me. But before I can do stuff reaching out to give support, I think this means that I need to get some people around me with these different jobs they're supposed to do on my team before and see if they can support me before I can support others. Do I have it in the right order?
Yeah, I mean, and that's where the division communication teams, that's where their job comes in. So each of the divisions hopefully has at least one person who is doing some of this work. Keeping those lines of communication open. You need to find out who those people are in each of your divisions. Maybe start with who's updating the website, the division website for their division. Start with that. And maybe who is doing their newsletter. I think those are probably the two critical areas. You need to find who's responsible for that in each of the divisions. And those are going to be the people who are going to help you. Okay.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Also, you had a question for me previously, and I responded. You asked me when did I start being the CTC person? And I think there's another lady's name involved. I need to get back with you so you can tell me who that is. Is she really the one? Because I don't want to step on her toes. And if we need to talk together, I don't know. But that's another place I need to start too.
Okay. All right. And we'll be in touch with each other and we'll figure that all out.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jeff Cooper, your question was, we can attend division meetings through Zoom. If they're having Zoom meetings, yeah, you can do that. And then there are going to be some divisions, I think, who are going to do double duty. They're going to have a live meeting and somehow Zoom it and stream it live, in which case, and again, don't ask me about the logistics of that yet. I still am doing my homework and trying to figure out how all of that works. I will be in touch with you and I'll send out information. Marilyn, you want to respond?
I don't know if, probably not very many, but I don't know, a week or so ago, Apple had the preview for the iOS changes that are coming up. And I don't know when they're going to release that, probably in a month or maybe two. But they are enhancing FaceTime. And if any of you has an iPhone and have been using FaceTime with others who have iPhone, they're expanding it so that it doesn't have to be Apple only. So I was thinking that is one way that people could have a dual type meeting where, like for me, the vast majority of everybody's going to be at luncheons, for example, or board meetings. And if one person will FaceTime with me, then I can be there in a sense.
Okay.
So
good to know.
Apple, yeah, if you have an iPhone, there will be a big update coming up pretty soon, and this FaceTime change is in there.
Okay. Bob Gonzalez.
Terry-
I'm sorry.
Terry's had her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. So Terry, yes, she's up at the top there, Terry, and then Bob Gonzalez, and then Mary Bryant. Okay, Terry Garrett's.
Hi, I was just curious, this is the first time I've heard, and I saw the list of everything a CTC chair for an area should do. And I'm wondering, is there like a minimum amount to do? Not everybody can do to that amount that you consider the most important things. I know in membership, we kind of, for the divisions, did like entry-level membership, and then as you get more comfortable, what you add on. And I wondered for the divisions, is there any way that we rank kind of in importance? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes, I do know what you're trying to say, because the list is pretty long and it could be overwhelming if you think you have to do everything. So here are if I had to vote for two things on the list, number one, I would share the information from the roundtable meetings. Okay. And again, you can convert those into your own notes, however, with explanations or however. So share that information, either send the handout to division presidents, your area director, and all those people that I enumerated in this training. Send that information out so they are always updated on what's going on. Anything new, any new webinars, whatever. So that's one. Share that information from the roundtable. The second one is overseeing and checking in with periodically the division websites, because I think they have been neglected. I think people just kind of shut down during COVID. And I get that, but we need to make sure that everything is brought up to speed. So periodically just click on one of your divisions in your area and kind of scroll through, see what's there. Okay. And again, if a lot of the stuff that's posted is outdated, I'd send off an email and say, hey, I noticed that some of your information is a bit outdated. How can I help you to bring it up to current status? So those would be the two things that I would suggest are pretty important. Okay, Terry, is that good?
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, who did I say was next? Bob, then I guess, and Mary.
I yield to Mary Byron because she had her hand up before me.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see that. Okay, Mary, go ahead.
Bob, you are so polite. I appreciate it.
Chivalry.
All I wanted to say is that I lived with an IT specialist for many years, my husband, and I asked him the same question I had asked you, Sue, about doing a dual meeting, and he got all excited and went out and bought some stuff from Amazon. It turns out that what we used to use in our classrooms, LCD projectors, have now been retooled to LED projectors, so you don't have to worry about all the heat and everything. And in just the confines of our house, we did a little Zoom meeting and combined both at the same time, and it worked really pretty well. But I'm sure there are many, many things to work out. So we will have to talk. And my husband is anxious to talk to you, Sue.
Okay. Hey, I'm good with it. And as I said in the presentation, we're always learning, and we got to step out of the comfort zone and try to learn stuff we don't know how to do. So that includes me too. So I still have to learn stuff. So, okay. Bob, you ready to go?
Yeah. When the virus came about a year and a half ago, my brother and sister have iPads or Apple cell phones. And so I was able to get an app called Duo, D-U-O.
I have it, yes.
Which you can use with a person that has Apple, and it works just the same as FaceTime. And that's the one thing. The other thing I wanted to talk about was regarding communicating with older members.
Yes.
I'm going to suggest that at our board meeting and the general meetings, we set aside a time to write a message to our members who have been members the longest. And I think that what did the tick to me was that thinking of you slide that you showed. We send out cards, and recently we've been trying to telephone our oldest members, and the oldest members that have been members for the longest. And that seems to help out. But I think if we got other people to write cards,
yes,
at a time when everybody is together, like we used to when we had propositions or laws that we tried to get on the books.
Yep.
But
I think that's a great idea. And, you know, if we get back into those face-to-face luncheons, I can imagine us, you know, because you can buy a box of greeting cards, just a thinking of you thing, or blank cards. Bring a box to the luncheon, everybody gets one card and an envelope. And, you know, you write a nice note to them, somebody who obviously isn't there at the luncheon or has a hard time, you know, with mobility and doesn't get out of their house or whatever, and write them a note. And yeah, and then one person could collect them all, find their addresses and get them mailed out. I mean, that's a great idea, Bob.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for contributing. Any other questions? Any other questions? Because we have hit our 1 hour. I try desperately to keep our webinars to an hour. Thank you, Mark. I know you like that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lola.
Real quick question.
Mhm.
Are our meetings always at 10 o'clock? I ask because my division meeting is the second Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
Our meetings are from
And-
9 to 10.
Good, because I don't want to miss a one.
I know, because we've missed you at our last few. And so maybe you were
Thank
thinking
you.
that they were 10 o'clock, but they're 9 o'clock the second Tuesday. And if you have to leave early, that's great. But at least you can come for part of it and get some of that information.
Yes,
Okay.
and I can put it on my calendar so I can remind myself. I have 2 meetings. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and conclude this. If there is, if any of you want me to send you like the full slide PowerPoint, if you need that, send me an email, and it's calrta.ctc@gmail.com. Okay, calrta.ctc@gmail.com. If you need any resources, if you need, as I said, PowerPoint or additional flyers or whatever, let me know. Or if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer your email and follow up with you on that. But I want to thank you all for joining me, and I appreciate you being here. So go out and spread the word. That's what we got to do. Okay, got to go out and spread the word. All right. Thank you, guys. Good to see you all. I hope to see you Thursday. You can come on Thursday too. It's different. It's a different presentation. If you want a link to that, let me know. Okay. Bye.
We'll be there.
Okay.